HTTV in association with Absolute Warehouse Services. Huddy, thank you for joining us on what is a very unusual time, unusual circumstance. How are you and your family getting on?
Yeah, well, we're all fit and well and busy. But no, we're all fit and well, which is the main thing I think at the moment. So yeah, no, we're confined to our four walls, and we're making the most of it.
How are you coping being confined in your house?
Well, I think from the beginning we still had school, so we were homeschooling in the week, Monday to Friday, struggling along with that. So no, it's been busy. They've got lots of energy, slightly more than me and the wife have. So yeah, no, it's been good. Like I said, we're making the most of what is a bad situation.
Yeah, you have to, don't you? What are you like as a teacher? What's Mr. Hudson like?
Well, I'd say I've got quite a bit of patience normally in the day-to-day life. It gets tested from if you're doing it Monday to Friday. They tend to test you a little bit, trying to keep them concentrating we try to stick to the school hours, so we give them the breaks at the right time, we give them their food, and then back to trying to work. But trying to get two brothers sat next to each other to concentrate on two different sets of work is quite difficult.
I can imagine. In terms of that balance of having the break times and then after school where they just return to normal, how do you find the balance of being a dad but also a teacher?
I think I actually don't find that bit too hard, because obviously with coaching and partly to do with the job and stuff like that, you feel like you're kind of a teacher, like not academic, but along the lines of teaching people to learn certain things. So that's helped, I think. But like I said, the patience gets tested.
And the work they're doing, what kind of bits have they been doing?
Well, the homeschooling they've done, we got a first week we got set quite a lot of work to do. They've got an app called Seesaw, which they have a login each for their class, and then they get set like 4 or 5 different tasks each day, number them through. Whether we stick to the numbers, I think we sort of go from one to the next, but they completed all their tasks in the time and in the day. All their teachers get to see it, all their classmates get to see it. There's some fun tasks in there, so it's not just the usual sort of English, maths, sciences, some languages, but no, it's good. It's actually quite nice to see them learning as well.
Have you been learning anything new, science, maths?
Yeah, I probably have. I've probably struggled the most with some of the work, to be fair. No, they're bright kids, and their school's very, very, very good. So they've taught me quite a bit, and I think we're learning about each other quite a lot. I think it's one of those sort of times that you do tend to. It's an unusual situation, isn't it? So we're sat together trying to teach, and we've got the little daughter's just under 2, so she's charging around, and one of us is trying to teach, and we're learning a lot about coping.
And in the situation we're in, like you said, you have to make the best out of it. For you, you can make the best out of it, can't you? Because in the 24/7 world that football is, you don't get to spend that much time with your family, with your kids. Like you said, you've got a little 2-year-old running around. It must be nice for you in that sense to spend extra time with them.
Well, yeah, it's a forced situation, isn't it? But I think, like I said at the beginning, we're trying to make the most of it. It's been something for so long. I think with football, like you said, it is 24/7, and even when you have the summer, I think when I was playing, you have a bit of time off. They could still be at school. There are overlapping holidays. You do get a holiday, but then they're back to school and you're off and trying to get fit. So, and then since coaching's come along, there's been licenses to do, obviously all the work that we do at Huddersfield, and I think this is the most we've probably spent as a family together. without, and then say if my wife went out, took the kids out before, and there would be that sort of break. Whereas when you're at home 24/7, it is different. So it's, like I said, it's making the most out of a bad situation and enjoy. You have to. We're enjoying each other's company for sure. We've both got good. Myself and Emma have got good patience, and the kids have been good so far.
Yeah. What have you been doing to keep them busy other than the schoolwork?
Well, yeah, I wrote down a few things earlier. I mean, we started, I think, first week because the weather was nice. We were outside. We built a den.
Yeah, nice.
Tried to do all the sort of, while the weather was nice, tried to do a lot of the outside stuff. So we built a den, then we built a fire pit, and then we set fire to most of the den. Also, it was all safe, so we did that. The boys love that. We've done football. They love football, so we've done loads of football in the garden. Kiki's not bad at it either for a little 2-year-old. She's pretty good. Dens in bedrooms. They've started, because they've got two boys sleep separately, but they've started to like build dens as chocolate sleepovers and doing stuff like that. Skill games, anything you can create in the garden. We did while the weather's nice. They love colour by numbers as well. Yeah, I know it sounds like schoolwork, but they love colouring. Ollie's quite good at art, so he's sort of teaching Leo, his younger brother, loads about colouring in and just how to do it and creating stuff. They're very good at creating games for each other. They've got a dartboard which they've covered the dartboard, and they've created loads of little tasks for each other. So be it a task, one of them has to go out and do a task or something. So we've done quite a lot.
Yeah, I could tell. That's fantastic.
I think we'll cycle it back round next week.
I'm sure a lot of parents will be able to take tips from that, because when you're in this different situation, you're trying to think of new things all the time, I suppose. So I'm sure that will come in handy. And we've seen with you've been doing fitness work as well on Instagram. Your little that you're giving everyone in the morning. It's really important that you keep physically active in this situation.
I think you have to. Yeah, I think for me, I've probably done more since this has happened than I probably would do in a day-to-day. I think obviously I don't have the drive to work, and I think it's important. I mean, this morning we went out. ML she's got a gym group they do outside on the Zoom app like this, and then I took the 3 kids for a walk, just literally around. We got like a private road. So we went up there on the scooters. They came back, got in by about 10 o'clock, and I'm thinking, well, that's should be about 12 o'clock, but it's not. It's only 10 o'clock. So managing to achieve quite a bit before the sort of days really got going. But there's loads of things that we've done. I think she's really good at cooking. She's teaching the boys to cook. We've got there's an app, I think, for schoolwork called Twinkle, which is really good. So we've got some stuff off there that, like, they're quite creative games. With loads of learning in it. So they can, like, it could be, I think there are a lot of maths games, but they've got to work out like the who did it sort of thing. So they've done stuff like that, which is quite good. But like I said, just trying to make the most of keeping them occupied. We've limited their screen time, which we've always done. I'm probably on the screen more than they are. Yeah, they're good. They're good. I think we just got to keep them occupied, and we've talked to them about it as well. Actually, tried to make sure that they're aware of actually what's going on. I think it's quite important that they know, because I think the unknown can be a bit unsettling. So we tried to keep them as up to date as we can, obviously, like in a basic version of what's going on.
Of course. No, that would be really handy for them to then embrace what they have to do in terms of washing their hands and so on. Yeah.
I mean, that was obviously key at the very beginning. When everything started to happen, I think they were still at school, and there was a lot of it going around about the 20 seconds of washing your hand. You could sing songs along to it, but they were asking why, so we tried to teach them the why.
So it's not always easy, but to get that across is really important. And
I think so. As long as you're on, you know that I think your children can handle that situation and how you describe it, and teach them. I think it's important that they understand what's going on. I've just seen one of them run past the window, actually. He's doing laps of the house.
That's one way to burn some energy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, just keep timing them. So, right, go again.
And obviously at this moment, football isn't at the forefront of everyone's minds, but equally behind the scenes, a lot is still going on. How often are you in touch with the Cowleys, Clem, John Iger, Kirky, and so on?
Yeah, well, we had regular meetings using the Zoom app, actually. Sort of every Monday and Friday, we're on there with Broms as well, and the darking, sort of updating every situation. We went through every player, did that twice a week just to see what situations were with them. I think that the club have done unbelievable with trying to get them all the equipment that they need at home as well, and some advice on food and all the sort of the sports science have sent out individual programs from all of them. So I know the boys have been keen to do that, because I think when you, like you said, keeping active is massively important.
How often are you in touch with the lads?
I've spoken to a few of them, yeah. Danny's Nicky have done that really well as well. They've set up sort of players for each sort of staff member to sort of keep contact with, and obviously I've done that anyway, just to check in on people, see how they're doing. Ones with kids and that as well, see what their kids are doing, see if they're as active and as annoying as ours are.
And in this time, obviously, like you said, it's really key to keep active, but no one knows when football could come back. So if football did come back in May, for example, as a player, you have to keep in top physical shape, ready for that occurrence if it does or does not happen.
Yeah, well, we were going with obviously the updates from the government. So when we first had the updates at the beginning, I think we were still keen to keep everyone ticking over, and then obviously it got set back, didn't it? So I think the managers decided it would be a good chance to maybe then down train a little bit, just to give them a bit of a freshen out, maybe take some of the load out of the legs, work on some things that aren't so sort of heavy on them, with the date being pushed back. I think you have that little bit of break. I think the boys will probably get a bit twitchy then and want to get going again. So then they've got that program set the right way through. So there'll be, whenever the date is that we get set, that we'll be ready to go back, and I'm sure they'll all be ready to do that.
Perfect. And just finally, obviously, there's lots of Town fans sat inside at the moment, wishing that football could come back now. What's your final message to them?
I think the first thing is we all want the football to come back. That's massively important. I think it's all what we love doing. It's a massive part of our life and everyone's lives. Looking forward to going to the matches, and we look forward to going to training day in, day out. But I think the main point at the moment is the quicker we can get past this, the quicker we can get back to football. And I think that's by doing what the government have set us and staying at home and looking after each other. And if we can do that quicker than some people have, then I think the football will be back soon enough, and we'll see what we've missed. I think it's an everyday life. Some people get sort of frustrated with football sometimes, and you think, oh, we could have got this result, that result, but this just shows how important it is to us, and we look forward to getting back as soon as possible, and looking forward to getting in front of the fans.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that, and I will let you go and try and do some more laps with the kids around the house.
I'll stay on here if you want, I don't mind.
Thank you very much, Mark.
No problem.